Hi and welcome everybody to our restorative practice today. We are here in the studio and you're all a little bit new to the practice, so I will explain a little bit about it before we get into it all. So we all know our stresses in life. We have stresses at work, at home, family, lots going on in our lives. We find ourselves always being go, go, go. We're in our to-do lists. Our minds are busy looking what's the plans of tomorrow or the worries we had yesterday. And it's very rare then that we can come to a place where we can rebalance all those stresses that we take on. And all of those stresses we take on actually impact on our nervous system. And so the restorative yoga practice is really to center ourselves, to balance ourselves, and to be able to make this space to move from the stress, to move from our fight or flight into our calm state, into our rest and digest, we call it, our relaxation response. And so in restorative yoga we have all these little tricks that we practice together to do just that. And so I have a few props here that we need today, so just make sure you have them all beside your mat. I put them out there for you, and that is a bolster for sure. Then we need the brick block and the flat block, 1 or 2. Make sure actually you have 2 beside your mat, and then we also have 1 or 2 blankets. And during the practice though, during our time together, I might come around and have a look at if you're entirely comfortable or if you need, another prop or so, and I will guide you into using another prop. I'll give you modifications for the poses as well, and so you want to aim for just making yourself the most comfortable that you can be in the pose, because we want to release muscle tension, we want to feel ourselves being able to relax into the props, we want to feel held, and then when the body can let go, it's easier then for our mind to be invited to let go also. And when you have tension somewhere in the body, it's harder to relax, so we try to get the body into almost this floating state that we almost have no sensation and we really feel supported with our props. And so we also use the breath to help the body release those tensions, but also to become present. And presence is in fact our topic for today. So being present is to tune in with the body, tune in with the breath, tune in with the moment, and guide the mind to relax and release all the future worries, the future plans, the past worries, and just find like almost anchors to become present. And we help the mind to do that through the breath and through the body and the sensations we feel in the moment. So you're going to often hear me say notice and sense and feel into the body, but also to welcome then those sensations. It's almost like welcoming an old friend, and you go into it with the excitement of seeing the friend and the love of seeing the friend. And it could be also strangers, so we don't know what to expect. So we try and go in welcoming with the sense of being open to what's going to happen, but also to have this sense of curiosity. And with that also goes to kind of try and not judge too much what we notice, sense and feel. But in the poses, I will guide you into them, I will guide you out of them, and I will give you a little bit to help you stay and start to relax into the poses, okay? And so the first one we're going to do is called butterfly. And for the butterfly, you have your bolster and you have your flat block goes on top. And then I give you a few options because, as I said, we want to get really comfy in the pose. And what we do is then we lean back over the bolster, have the head supported, so we feel our chin coming down to the chest, and then our feet come together, soles of the feet come together, so we create this diamond shape. But notice how your groins feel here, because if they're too tight, if you feel quite tight in your groins, then you also have the option of simply reaching and extending the legs out. Or you could play around with taking the heels a little bit further away from the ground to open the space more. But also for this one then we have the blocks, and in fact you should have two beside your mat because we need the two. And that is so that you can support your knees if you wish. So you can have the block on its level 2 setting, one under this knee, one under this. And it's really comfortable then to lean back. And we lean back, we feel our spine really nice and long. So you can come into it with me now. Noticing here that your chest becomes quite open. This is also a chest opener. And for sure we want to have our elbows on the mat, okay? Elbows and hands are relaxing down, so we're actually able to really release the upper body here. And once you're here and once you're comfy, you can start, if you wish, to close your eyes and drop a little bit deeper down into the pose. Notice that your chin is moving towards the chest. And maybe you have this awareness of your ribs moving down rather than flaring out. And then we just begin to notice and feel and sense into the sensations of the body. So notice how the soles of your feet are connecting. And then moving up through your hips, noticing the weight of your pelvis, the weight of your hips. Maybe here you begin to feel the movement of your breath and the body. So just noticing where you can feel simply the movement, ebb and flow of the breath, breathing in. Maybe your belly rises, breathing out. Maybe your belly drops. Noticing those movements in the body. You can feel them up in your chest as well, up around your shoulders even. And we're looking at areas of tension, so sometimes we clench the jaw and we feel quite a lot of tension in the jaw. Our shoulders might be hunching up to the ears. So just notice what's happening for you in your body. Noticing and sensing, welcoming what you find. Trying to be non-judgmental about what you find. Almost like becoming the observer of your body. And if you notice areas of tension, you might also notice areas of space. A really nice way to connect into the body, to become present, is also to notice your supports, noticing and sensing how the back is supported by your bolster, your pelvis supported by the floor, your knees supported by the blocks. these spaces in your body. The space, the discomfort or the tightness. But perhaps becoming aware that as you sense and notice and feel into the body, do the sensations maybe quieten a bit? And can you even find a space where you can allow yourself to embrace these sensations and feelings that you notice? Where that space is where we can welcome them. Noticing, sensing, and feeling into your physical body. And you could even ask yourself, as if you would ask a good friend, how you are feeling in the body today. And know as well that if anything becomes too uncomfortable, you can always shift. Even though we try to be here in stillness and welcoming all the sensations, if something gets too uncomfortable, rather than staying there feeling, oh, I can't hold this anymore, do make any adjustments that the body needs. And then resettle yourself into that comfort of the props. And while we're being present with the body, we want to also shift now gently our focus to the breath. And for now, we're just observing the breath, noticing the breath, noticing that you're breathing. And you don't have to feel like you have to force the breath in any shape or any way. Just know that the way you're breathing right here, right now, is totally okay. No need to change it or to find a more correct way of breathing. In fact, there is no correct way of breathing. And so we're becoming the observer of our breath. Maybe notice the quality of your breath. Simply observing, sensing, feeling if it's fast or slow right now. Is it deep or shallow? Perhaps the space where you can feel the breath the most. And that could be down in your tummy or a little bit more up in the chest. Because we are in the space, we're opening our chest, so it's natural to feel the breath a little bit more up here in the chest because of the shape we're in. Breathing in I know I am breathing in. Breathing out, I know I am breathing out. As my in-breath grows deep, my out-breath grows slow. Breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I feel ease. Breathing in, I smile. Breathing out, I release. Dwelling in the present moment, I know this is a wonderful moment. And as the body relaxes more, you might find that your breath is slowing as well. And as we relax more, our nervous system is able to relax more, and that manifests in the way we breathe. That's how we can feel where our mind is at. And perhaps if you now look at your thoughts, perhaps you notice where your thoughts are at. Now that we connected a little bit into the presence, into the breath, into the body at this moment, have a little look into your thoughts and notice perhaps there are busy monkey mind thoughts, or do you find them just floating by like clouds? And in this space that you created right now, is there a sense maybe of the connection between your mind, your body, and your breath? And then from here we begin to shift the body, and we start by taking the hands to the knees. If you had your knees out into the butterfly shape, into the diamond shape, you can bring the knees together with the help of your hands, and then you can roll off the bolster, roll off to one side and push yourself up to sitting. And then we create a little ramp to sit for a moment. So we have two blocks, the two flat blocks, and you take one and the other one on top like so. So you're creating a little ramp because we want to have our pelvis tilted in such a way that it's easier for us to sit with our legs crossed, the knees dropping down towards the floor, our hips nice and comfy, and there we can feel that lift that this position gives us, that lift in the spine, helping us into our natural curves of the spine. And we're just getting into the joints a little bit here, to doing a little bit of movement to open up the body, to go then again into another rest pose. So we just start with the neck. You just drop your chin down to the chest, and then gently and slowly bring your chin over to your right shoulder. Looking over your right shoulder and dropping the chin down again, bring it back to center. Very slowly, and noticing that in the back of your neck and the opposite side of your neck. And then gently we bring the chin over to the left shoulder. Dropping back down and over, back to center. And we are taking these movements really nice and slow, and then bring your head back up. And then we do a little side bend for the neck. So we take one arm, take the left arm actually to your hip, and then walk your fingertips away a little bit, and then you bring your right ear down to the right shoulder, but this time we're keeping our nose straight ahead. I'm feeling that stretch at the left side of the neck, just raking up the neck, keeping the shoulders soft, keeping the jaw soft. And then breathing your head back to center, and we go to the other side, right hand beside your hip, walk it away a little bit to create a bit more of a stretch. And then bringing your left ear to the left shoulder. And again, you don't have to go very far, just so that you have a little bit of a sensation of a stretch here, just lengthening into the side neck muscles. And even if having the arm out and stretched out is too much, you can relax the arm, and the stretch like this can be enough for some people. Lovely. And then bring head back to center, and we're going to go into the shoulders, so we're kind of working ourselves through the joints from the neck down. And the shoulders, this one I really like, we do swimmer shoulders, I call it. So you take your fingertips to the top of the shoulders, elbows together, and then we go breathing in to move the elbows up and around, opening. And then every time we circle, we may be able to bring the elbows together in front of the heart. But if that's too much for your body today, you don't have to do that. Just notice that your movements are nice and slow. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to bring the nervous system kind of out of default. You know, sometimes we're so used to doing things that way or this way. We just let kind of the autopilot take over. Next time your elbows meet, we go the opposite direction. And see, really feel into the shoulders, rotator cuff muscles. The muscles in the shoulder, just that rotate your shoulders, your shoulder joint in all directions. And it's almost the slower we go, the more kind of kinks we can work out, but it's a movement, I find it really nice. So we're here to enjoy those movements as well. And then we drop the hands down. Notice this for a moment in our shoulders. And maybe if you had a bit of tension there, you felt a bit hunched, notice even that now your shoulders are dropping down a little bit more easily. Lovely. And so we're going to stretch the legs out a little bit now. So we might, actually you can try this staying on your blocks. We take the legs out wide. And then my bowls here, I was going to use them. Maybe I will. Let's see. So we go drawing some circles with our toes. And you might hear it snap, crackle, pop. Then you might choose to go a little slower, change direction. I certainly hear some snap, crackle, pop in my ankles. Going a little bit slower, but knowing you're helping the blood flow through your joints this way, those circles. Let's go to point and flex, so pointing towards me and then pointing towards your face. Just a few times. Working into the ankles. And then just knowing you're doing this really good for your circulation. Okay. And then we come off our props here, come off our blocks. We're going to come into a little simple twist, but we keep the legs long, toes pointing up, maybe a micro bend in the knees. And then we take our left hand in front of the pubic bone, right arm behind us, lifting up, and then we're twisting over to the right, twisting from the tummy, the waist, the ribs, and you don't even have to look behind you. It's just a really simple twist to warm up the spine a little bit. And then every time you breathe in, you're working on getting that length, and every time you breathe out, you might be able to go a little bit deeper towards the left. And the awareness is coming from the belly or the wrist as we twist. So this is the part we slowly rotate. And then we take another deep inhale. The exhale brings us back to center. And we go to the other side. So this time right hand in front of your pubic bone. And then left hand behind you, lifting yourself up and long and tall on the in-breath. And then starting to twist to the left. Belly, waist, ribs, the shoulders. And the head as far as it's comfortable, or not at all. You can even keep your chin in line with your chest. Just noticing as well, as we move like this, keep on noticing how this feels in the body, sensing how this feels in the body. And welcoming. So know sometimes we feel a bit stiff, feel a bit tense. So those times might feel a little harder for us to move, but sometimes even just welcoming those sensations and being okay with them helps to release a little bit. And then breathing in to get long, breathing out to come back to center. Super. And then we do a little bit of movement and breath, and this one is actually, it's one of my favorite, and because it kind of has all the moves. We have a little twist, we have a little side bend, and then we even have a little bit of lateral side bend, like going into a little bit deeper. Okay, so let's go. Your right hand can go to your thigh, your left hand comes out to the side, kind of shoulder height, and then start to come forward towards your left toes, just a little bit, over to your right, and this brings us into a little bit of a side bend, lifting up, and then coming back with the arm behind you for the twist. Oh yeah, I remember now it was supposed to be forward bend, so we do that again. Circle with your left hand towards the left toes, over to the right, up above, a little bit behind you on the left, and then we go again. And this time we go breathing in as we come up, breathing out as we go back down with our hand. And this is number 4, we do this last one, breathing, come forward, breathing in, up, and breathing out, come down, and you can feel how this is opening your side body, helping us to breathe better, and while we're kind of tuning into the movement and the breath together. So this time left hand to the floor, right hand to shoulder height, and we start bringing in the belly button a little bit as we come forward, hands to toes, right hand toes, left hand toes. Keep your hips or keep your sit bones on the floor, reaching in to come into a side bend, opening up here, lovely stretch to open up, and then hand a little bit behind you, and we go again. Forward to right toes, left toes, reaching up, drawing a big circle, and noticing how we're keeping those movements super slow and controlled. And it's like we're moving, well, maybe, do you like porridge? So we're moving through porridge. It's a little bit thick, it's a little bit dense, and so we're kind of moving in this slow and mindful way, breathing in up, and again coming back behind you, taking the hand back down to your hip, and then we bring in one leg, we bring in the other leg, and we just let the legs drop to one side, and we're going to come onto hands and knees. Going to do a bit of movement, hands and knees, before we get into our next rest pose. And if you have your blanket handy, it's actually nice to put the blanket down to cushion your knees a little bit. Just keeping those knees healthy. Okay, so you can just have the blanket folded once. Just make a bit of space here. And then knees under hips, hands, wrists under shoulders. And have a little micro bend in your elbows if you tend to kind of lock them out. And then we start to move the hips. So just circles. It's like you're drawing circles with your belly button on the mat. You're just kind of building up the movements, and then go the other way. And really spreading the fingers wide, and we're noticing how this feels. You can draw your circles bigger or smaller as you wish. And then we come back to center, and we start to drop the belly and lift the chest. And then on the exhale, we draw the belly button in and up, looking towards the knees, rounding the back. Breathing in to drop the belly, looking up, shining the heart. And these movements are really nice to warm up the spine. And also helping us to sync movement and breath, to really tune into the body and the breath together. So breathing in is looking up, and then breathing out is rounding the back and feeling the lovely spread of the back. Breathing in as you arch. And as you breathe out, you can bring in a little bit of tummy engagement, bringing belly button in and up. But also just feeling and sensing into the body, noticing how nice these movements are, or not, maybe not. But staying with the body and the movements as much as you can. You can even close your eyes here. And then we're taking this into a little bit more of a kind of a wavy motion. So as you round your back, you can even drop yourself a little bit more back towards the heels, and then you can come forward, low down as you push back up into your cow, and then again rounding the spine as you drop back towards your heels. Don't have to touch them. Coming forward as you push up, and then we're beginning to feel the spine a little bit like the ocean waves, perhaps. And that goes together with your breath, breathing in, coming up, breathing out, rounding the spine, coming back. Lovely. And then coming back to center, and you can drop back onto your heels. I'll show you now the next rest pose. And so we've done a bit of stretching. It feels good in the body. Maybe, there was a bit of tension that you released, or we were able to come easier to the body with the movements and the breath. So we're going to take this one. This is child's pose, supported child's pose. And you need your bolster. And if it's comfy for you, you can already sit in a kneel like this, and kneeling, taking your bolster, taking a block to make a ramp. So you have your 2 blocks. You could have one on the level 2 setting, the other one on the highest setting. And then this is, you're scooching very close here to the bolster, but your knees are wide. And this is a really good time to get your second blanket. Your other one is supporting your knees there still, but you can take this and roll it up a little, fold it up to give your ankles a bit of support, because we take a lot of weight into the feet or into this flexed foot, so it might bug you after a while because you're going to stay in this pose for a few minutes. So if you take and roll up your blanket a little bit, actually coming back here, and then putting it under your under your ankles. That can be really nice. And then we scooch ourselves and we lie down over the bolster. We're checking in that our shoulders stay nice and high, higher than the hips, and that our arms are supported. So if you feel your elbows are floating up a little bit, you can take the flat block and rest your elbows. So important that we support those. And then you really settle down, settled in. You have one side of the face, doesn't matter which. I give you a little signal when we switch to the other side, just so that we keep the neck balanced. But this is really nice and comfy, and you can settle in here into your pose. And this is a lovely pose to come back to the breath. So breathing here. And again, coming back to observing the breath. Coming just back to the spaces in the body where you can feel the breath. And because you're now having your bolster under your belly, you might notice how your belly is touching your bolster as you breathe in, and moving away from the bolster as you breathe out. And one more thing in this pose, if your sit bones don't quite touch your heels, you're going to want to put something under, so you can put a block under or another blanket. So if I come around and I see anyone having their sit bones not touching onto their heels, I will give you another blanket, because that's really important, so that you can settle into this child's pose. Notice as well how in this pose you might feel the breath more in your back body. So this is a really nice pose to feel the breath and the way it moves through the body, in your side ribs, in the back of your ribs. Sensing, feeling, and welcoming everything that is present right now in your body, in your breath, in your emotions, in your mind. With each breath, you might find it easier to relax, to invite relaxation into your body, into your mind. In these poses, we also invite stillness. The body becomes still, and we notice the connection between the mind and the body. The body becomes still. The breath becomes easier, more flowy, slower. And the mind is invited to join those other two, to become more still as well. And you might notice this. And if you don't, that's okay too. Keeping that space for welcoming whatever arises right now. The cosmos is filled with precious gems. I want to offer a handful of them to you this morning. Each moment you are alive is a gem, shining through and containing earth and sky, water and clouds. And you can now gently turn your head to the other side to bring the balance to the neck. Settling in again. Keeping the mind anchored in the presence through sensing, feeling, noticing into the body and into the breath. Noticing if the relaxation you begin to feel, does that come to touch other parts of your body? In this pose, a gentle hip opener, maybe you start noticing a bit more of this sense of relaxation in your shoulders, in your neck, in your jaw. And staying, exploring, observing the breath. Can you feel it in your back body? Can you feel it in your back ribs? Do you notice your belly rising and falling? This gentle movement of the diaphragm, your chief breathing muscle, as part of your core, your connection to the center. And with as little disturbing your body as you can, begin to take your hands to the floor and push yourself up. Push yourself all the way up back to sitting. And we shift now to a gentle twist from here. So just have a little look at me first. So there's a few options for different bodies. You can keep your ramp as it is. We keep it like this, nice and simple. And then you can take your legs into this figure of four shape. So you have, in my case, my left foot against my right thigh, and my knee on both of my knees, pointing making the shape of a figure 4. And if that's comfy, you begin to twist your body towards your bolster so that your breastbone is in line with the bolster, and then you start to drape over the bolster. Your bolster really is here on the thigh. That's how close you're pulling it in. So it's a bit of a twist. So we lengthen, and then we move into the twist on the exhale. We're coming down with our breastbone. And then if you feel that's a bit too much today for your hips, for your groin, it's a bit tight here, you can also take your knees to stack and your feet to stack and just bring your legs together like this. And then you have the option to drape over and face towards your knees, resting down like this. This way it's really nice if you have anything sciatica going on, that supports the sensation, that you don't feel it here. But if you want just to have a little bit of a deeper twist, you could face the other way, so opposite to your knees. And that makes the twist a little bit stronger. So yogi's choice, you choose what's best for your body today. And then we stay here for a couple of minutes, and then we go to the other side. So finding your way in, making your adjustments, settling in again. And this time you might find the breath, or the sensation of the breath. You might find it a bit different. Tuning back into the breath, the mantra of the breath, breathing in. I know I'm breathing in, breathing out. I know I'm breathing out. And the way the breath moves through your body. In our twist, we're helping to create, through the movement of the twist in the spine, it's like you're wringing out a sponge, and it creates a space between the vertebrae. It's a really lovely way of energizing a little bit in a gentle way. And then getting ready now to shift to the other side. So coming from where you are, if you had your head turned, take your head back towards your knees. And then again, you can take your hands on the mat and start to walk up. And you can simply come here to a kneel and then go to the other side, either your figure 4 shape, bringing the opposite foot to the top thigh of the other leg, and letting your back foot drop out behind you, and then noticing if this is comfy for you. Again, you twist your breastbone or your torso towards the bolster, and you can decide then if you want to keep your head facing towards your knees or looking over the other way to make it a little bit more twisty, a little bit more stronger. Or if you have any sensations of your sciatica or this wasn't comfy, then you take your knees together, your feet together into a 90-degree angle, and then come back into the pose on the other side. And with this twist where we create more space in the spine, perhaps you can find now a little bit of a sensation or noticing if you find that feeling of space that you create in the body. Because in yoga we free up the tension, we help the body make space inside to feel the flow of energy again that might have become blocked up through stress and tension and tightness. But once we help the body to release tension in the muscles or even in our fascia, to release, make space, we can feel that flow again, that flow of energy that we all have. That's a great way to connect again through our noticing, sensing, feeling, welcoming, creating to that sense. In yoga it's called prana, our life force, that what gives us the energy to be alive, the actual being alive energy. Feel it tingling through the body as we open up. And then again from this side, getting ready to move, moving the head into the same direction as your knees. Coming back onto the hands and walking yourself up to sitting. And let's sit for a moment crisscross. If you remember the cross of your legs from the beginning, take your other leg on top. And we want to come into a mudra here, and this is probably one, well, maybe if you're a beginner you mightn't have, but if you know this is called Anjali Mudra, and it's one of our easiest or most known maybe yoga mudras. But you know what, I find it beautiful because it gives us a sense of real presence and mindfulness. So as you take your hands together, notice how you really feel, sense the palms together, so you can even press them together a little bit stronger here. And it helps us to bring together our left and right side of the brain, our left and right side of the body. You know, it's almost like we're closing a circle, and it helps us to really become present. I was talking there about prana, or the life energy, and part of where we can really feel it if we focus is in our hands, the palms of our hands. So maybe by staying here for a moment with your hands together, with all your focus and awareness in your hands, you might notice this. Notice if you sense this tingling in your palms, or feel anything, even you might feel hot or cold, coldness, warmth in your palms. And just resting your thumbs to your heart space and practicing to be so present here. Mindful sensation in your hands. Rise and fall of breath. And a real sense of being present in your body, in your space, in your practice right now. And then we take a deep breath in And release it with a sigh. Let's do that a couple more times, and you can really sound it out and feel the respond of just everything is moving down, floating down, relaxation in the body through just letting a bit of sound out. So taking another deep inhale through the nose. And letting it go. Last one, breathing in deep through the nose, sighing it out as loud or silent as you like. Lovely. So we shift again, and this time we're going to come into a back bend, and this one is the bridge pose, and we modify it a little bit. It's actually my favorite version of the bridge pose. So we use the bolster, and now you also have your band. We need this as well. And I'll just show you first. So we come lying down. You can put the band in already. So you can put the band to the tops of the thighs there. Can you see? Okay. And then get it nice and comfy, and then we have the bolster beside us, so we can slide it under because it goes under the pelvis, and then lie yourself onto your elbows and then all the way onto your back. Take your feet to the mat, and we lift up into a bridge, bridging up so that we can slide the bolster under our pelvis, under our hips. So you can just slide it under so that your whole pelvis is supported here with your bolster. So it's a little bit lower than your lower back, okay? So the sacrum area, all of your hips, your whole pelvis bowl is supported by a bolster. So you come into it, and then it's important you keep your head on the mat and your chin is moving towards your chest. Okay, so that keeps our neck long, and we have this gaze towards our heart center. So we're looking down into the direction of our heart. You can now, with the feet flat on the mat, but you can really let your legs go in this one because you're supported by the belt. Okay, I shouldn't be keeping on looking to the screen because we want to stay with our neck long so we don't hurt our neck. So really keep your gaze towards the heart, and then you can have your arms alongside the body, palms facing up to have a little bit of space between the shoulders, or get space into the shoulders. And just letting go of the legs, knowing that they're supported by your band, feeling the support of your bolster. So your pelvis is like the heaviest part of your body, and you can really let your pelvis sink down into the support of your bolster. And you have created another chest opener here. A little bit of a chest opener, gentle. And when we're in these, it helps, this particular one, in fact, our heart is a bit higher than our head, and it helps us to space out our heartbeats. And so another practice that helps us to come present and release the stress, release the nervous system response, the fight or flight response, is to feel into what's going on inside our sense of interoception. So we're becoming aware of what our body does automatically, like our heartbeat. And as we gaze down towards the heart, and you can actually gaze down, or you can close your eyes here and imagine your heart. Can you find the connection? Maybe you just have a sense of where your physical heart is and the space that you're creating right now in this pose, the opening of the heart. Visualizing the heart and knowing that here it's not just our physical heart, it's also our emotional heart, our spiritual heart. And in our emotional heart, you can feel joy. Sometimes we connect to a memory that brings us joy, or a place. Could be a place in nature, or a person that when we think of them we feel love, and that's a way to feel into our heart space. And so we create space here in this pose to find that connection with our heart. And again, sensing, feeling, noticing, and welcoming what comes up for you. Curiosity and openness as we welcome. And even if there is something like sadness there, we are safe to make space for that here. Because it's part of our process of coming to a relaxed state. And we come back to breathing, noticing where the breath is, and maybe again here you can feel it more in your upper breathing space. So we open the chest. Maybe you can connect to your heart by just noticing your heartbeats. Sensing how the body is sensing, noticing, and feeling how the body opens in this pose. It needs you to breathe gently for the miracles to be displayed. Suddenly you hear the birds singing, the pines chanting, see the flowers blooming, the blue sky, the white clouds, the smile and the marvelous look of your beloved. You, the richest person on earth, who have been going around begging for a living, stop being the destitute child. Come back and claim your heritage. We should enjoy our happiness and offer it to everyone. Cherish this very moment. Let go of the stream of distress and embrace life fully in your arms. And once we connect with our heart, we can ask our mind, we can invite it into that space we created. Because maybe there where we're really connected, our body, our heart, our emotions, our sensing, feeling and noticing that place we can help our mind to relax a little bit more. So our heart knows that pure joy, that pure life force. And so with that, let's shift ourselves into our Shavasana, and we're taking a simple Shavasana with, if you like, your bolster under the knees. So coming out of your bridge, you are just lifting your, pushing into your feet, lifting your hips, and then just pushing the bolster out from under your hips, or just taking your legs to push it out, and taking your knees up into the chest to be able to slip your bend off. And then you can choose, if you like, to keep your bolster under your knees, and that helps to free the lower back a little bit. So you can even take it kind of, there's a flat side and a long side that is a bit more bolsterous, and if you find that, you can take it to have a bit more elevation in your legs, and then come back onto your forearms all the way down. We just take a moment to focus on the chest space. So if you even if you put your elbows, push them down into the mat, and just lift your heart space a little bit, lift your upper back. So the sensation is a gentle drawing of the shoulder blades towards the spine, so towards the midline, and that gives you that tiny little lift. And then you notice how your shoulders drop back down. You can take your hands, your palms to face up, have them a little bit away from the body to really give the body space. And we come into a practice of Yoga Nidra here for our last 15 minutes or so. And it is really to relax the body if it so happens. We're not trying to relax it, we just let it happen. It will happen by our focus on the body. So we say it's a conscious sleep almost. It gives us the quality of a deep sleep of 3 hours or so. It's a really powerful practice to relax. And that's what we're using it for today, to rest consciously and without the need to try and relax. We'll just go through your body parts, and you try and focus on the body part for a moment, and then consciously move on to the next. And if you wish, for now, you can also set an intention for your nidra, and you can choose something that is restated in the present and restated in a positive. So you could say, I am relaxed, I am focused, I feel connected, I am nourished. So you can make up your own, or something that I just said that resonates with you. And then begin to close your eyes if you don't already have done so, and start to come back to the breath for a moment. And again, no correct way of breathing, just breathing and noticing your breath, sensing and feeling into your breath. So you feel your body rise and fall. And so we begin in the face, so bring all your awareness and focus into your face, and feel your face. Notice your jaw, become aware of sensation in your mouth, and without moving, feel your mouth, underneath the tongue, Notice teeth, gums, tongue, roof of the tongue, inside of your right cheek, inside of your left cheek. Sense taste in your mouth. And now feel all the parts of your mouth all together as a whole, the entire mouth as one sensation. Shifting awareness to your nose and feel your nose, the length of your nose, nostrils, right nostril, left nostril, both nostrils, and feel your breath passing through both nostrils. Feel your nose. Bring awareness now to your ears and feel the wrinkles and folds of your ears. Backs of the ears, ear canals, inner ears. Aware of your ears, hearing and receiving sound. Feel your ears as orbs of sensation. Now feel your eyes, eyelids, eyelashes, surface of the eyes, centers of the eyes, backs of the eyes, behind the eyes, and feel your eyes as radiant orbs of light and wisdom. Become aware now of your forehead, crown, whole head, throat, neck, right shoulder, right arm, hand, right palm. Feeling right hand thumb, first finger, second finger, third finger, fourth finger. And feel now the whole right hand vibrant with energy. Aware of your right wrist, forearm, elbow, upper arm, shoulder, and feel your throat center. Notice left shoulder, arm, hand. Notice left hand thumb, first finger, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, whole hand radiant with life. Become aware of your left wrist, forearm, elbow, upper arm, shoulder, and back to your throat center. Feel your chest, your heart space, heart center, stomach, navel center, shoulder blades, between the shoulder blades, ribs on the back, low back, buttocks, and become aware of your whole back. Feel the right hip, right thigh, knee, right lower leg, ankle, top of the foot, sole of the foot, big right toe, and all of the toes. Feel your whole right foot. Become aware of the sensations in your navel. Now to your left hip, left thigh, knee, lower leg, ankle, top of the foot, sole, big left toe, all of the toes. Feel the foot vibrant with energy. Become aware of the right side of your body. Now, feel the left side of your body. Feel your back body, the side of the body facing the ground. Your back body. Now feel your front body, side of the body facing the sky. Front body. Now feel right arm, and left leg together. Right arm, left leg. Now feel left arm and right leg together. Left arm, right leg. Now feel the whole body, feeling your whole body now. Entire global feeling of your body. Whole body. Once again, becoming aware of the rise and fall of your breath. Rise and fall of your breath. And noticing, sensing, and feeling as you slowly bring your awareness back to the room, starting with the sense of sound. Noticing sounds far away from you, outside the room, and then closer to you inside the room. You're shifting your sensation to a sense of touch, noticing your back body on the floor, backs of the knees on the bolster, backs of the heels on the ground. Maybe sensation of temperature on your skin. Air flowing through your nostrils, warm and cold. And staying with the sensation of your breath in your nostrils, becoming aware, more aware now, even listening, hearing the sound of your own breath and helping you come back to the present in this way. And then we start to move fingers and toes. Maybe you want to take your head to the right, back to center, over to the left. Just gently waking up the neck, bringing the knees up into the chest, giving yourself a big hug, and rocking a little bit from side to side, giving your back a tiny massage. And then rolling over to the right to relax the heart on the left. Pushing your hand down into the floor, gently coming up to sitting. And sitting together any way that's comfy to you. Back to our Anjali Mudra, hands together in front of the heart. And we're sounding an Om together, and maybe that's new to you, but the Om or any sound is part actually of our getting the nervous system to relax. So I'm playing my bow together with the sound. It's more comfy to sing along, or you can sing it in your head. Taking a deep inhale now, and on the exhale we sound it out, breathing in. Namaste. Thank you so much.